The bedroom was already cold when the officer touched her wrist. Too spotless. Nothing disturbed, nothing broken, and somehow that made it worse. Mark Henderson stood in the doorway behind her, arms folded tightly across his chest. He didn't step forward, didn't cry out, just stared. "I sleep heavy," he said quietly. I didn't hear anything. Rachel didn't look at him yet. She was still watching Laura's face, trying to imagine the last few seconds, the confusion, the realization, the silence. Laura, 42, volunteered 3 evenings a week at the community center. Doors were locked from the inside, he said. Windows intact. Another detective, Mara Levin, noted the absence of defensive injuries. "It's like she didn't realize what was happening," she murmured. Rachel wrote that down, then hesitated. Because people don't usually miss their own deaths. Mark's statement came smoothly, too smoothly. He said Laura had gone to bed early. Outside, Sophie sat in the back of a patrol car, wrapped in a blanket that wasn't warm enough. She stared at the house without blinking. When Rachel approached, Sophie's first words weren't, "Is my mom okay?" They were, "Is he in trouble?" Rachel felt something twist. In the days that followed, the case refused to settle. The medical examiner initially listed the cause of death as undetermined. No bruising. No obvious trauma, no toxins. Just oxygen deprivation without a clear mechanism. Rachel hated that phrase. Undetermined. It gave people room to disappear. Neighbors were interviewed. One mentioned raised voices the night before. Not screaming, just sharp, controlled arguing. Another neighbor insisted Mark was the nicest guy on the block. A third quietly mentioned that Laura had seemed tired lately. Not physically, emotionally. "She used to laugh," the woman said. Then she started apologizing for everything. Investigators briefly considered an intruder, a rare but possible scenario. Rachel followed that thread longer than she should have, hoping it would lead somewhere else. It didn't. Security footage from nearby homes showed no movement overnight. No cars, no shadows. No strangers, which meant whoever ended Laura's life never left the house and had no reason to rush. Digital forensics brought the first real fracture. Mark's laptop contained hidden files, journals he'd never shared, pages of controlled language, schedules, expectations, rules framed as concern. One entry stopped Rachel cold. "She's forgetting how Orton keeps us safe. Search history's fine." How long before unconsciousness from restricted airflow? Signs of peaceful suffocation. Accidental death during sleep. Rachel closed the file and leaned back. She didn't feel victorious. She felt nauseous. Still, doubt crept in. What if he researched but never acted? What if Laura had medical complications? What if they were forcing a narrative because it felt cleaner? Mara voiced it out loud one night. "We need to be careful," she said. "He's weird, not stupid." Rachel nodded. The thought that haunted her wasn't that Mark might be guilty. It was that he might almost get away with it. Sophie was interviewed twice. The first time, she defended her father automatically. The second time, she paused longer between answers. "He liked things a certain way," she said quietly. "If we didn't follow it, the house felt tight." She rubbed her arms as she spoke, as if remembering a chill. Rachel asked what her mother had been like lately. Sophie swallowed. She was trying to be brave. The interrogation room felt smaller when Mark finally cracked, not loudly, not dramatically. It happened in pieces. First a correction, then a sigh, then a long silence where he stared at the table as if it had disappointed him. "She wouldn't listen," he said eventually. "She kept encouraging chaos." Rachel asked him to explain. His voice wavered, not with guilt, but with irritation. She was slipping away, teaching Sophie to question structure, to question me. He described the night clinically, how he waited, how he adjusted his hands, how Laura stirred but didn't fight, how he told himself this was mercy. His breathing sped up near the end, not from remorse, from relief. When he finished, no one spoke. Later, Rachel would realize that was the most horrifying part, not what he did, but how calmly he believed it made sense. Mark Henderson was convicted of first-degree murder. The verdict didn't feel like closure. Sophie moved in with relatives. She flinched at sudden noises. She apologized too often. She learned, slowly, that love wasn't supposed to feel like pressure. Rachel attended the sentencing and felt no satisfaction, only exhaustion. Because cases like this don't end when the gavel falls. They linger. They make you look twice at clean houses, polite smiles, people who say they just want what's best. Some of the most dangerous violence doesn't come from rage. It comes from certainty, from the belief that control is love, and that losing it justifies anything. This case isn't disturbing because it feels unreal. It's disturbing because it looked normal right up until it wasn't. And that truth should make all of us pay closer attention, not with fear, but with awareness. Because awareness saves lives. If this story made you think differently about trust and human behavior, share your thoughts below. Like and subscribe for more documentaries like this.